Let's take a look at the housing markets over the weekend, where there were 1,269 auctions. The clearance rate rose nationally to 85%. In Sydney, there were 373 auctions. The clearance rate there, 86%. And across New South Wales for the week, a further 1,658 private sales. In Melbourne, there were 554 auctions, an improved clearance rate here, close to 85%. And across Victoria, a further 1,352 private sales. In Brisbane, 45 auctions, 78% successful, and Queensland had another 1,324 private sales for the week. In Adelaide, 48 auctions, almost 90% of those sold. SA had another 322 private sales. In the ACT, 65 auctions, a clearance rate 83%, and a further 68 sales. And in Perth, 4 auctions, 3 sold, and WA saw another 738 private sales. Better check out the state of the housing market. Ed Boyd spoke with REA Group economist and Flaherty a little earlier.
Yeah, look, we had a very strong weekend of auctions. Lots of properties went under the hammer and clearance weights were really very strong. Now, this is really good news for sellers out there because we know that more properties hit the market last weekend than we had seen at the same time last year. So to see such strong clearance results really shows the strength of the market.
Are you expecting clearance rates to keep getting stronger as we get further and further into this year? And are there any cities which are doing better than others?
I would expect these strong selling conditions to last over March as well. You know, we're a week away from the autumn selling season, which is typically a very strong time of year. What's more is that because a lot of people are anticipating that we could see an interest rate rise over the next 12 months, there are a lot of buyers out there who are looking to get into the market before rates rise.
So we've got the autumn selling season coming up. At what point in the year does the market start to calm down? Is it winter time?
Well, we do see a bit of a fluctuation throughout the year. What we typically see is a real build-up of activity over autumn before we get to Easter. So a lot of people want to sell their properties prior to the Easter school holidays. Then over winter, we typically see a bit of a lull in the market before things build up again come springtime.
And with prices so high, it looks like there are now some suburbs in Sydney, like Mossman and Castle Hill, where $1 billion in property changed hands over the course of a year. What's pushing up prices so much?
Yeah, some of this price growth that we've seen over the last 2 years is just astonishing, particularly in those sort of eastern and northeastern areas of Sydney, where we've got over $1 billion worth of sales that have happened over the last year. Now, when you have suburbs where the median price of a property is as high as it is in those areas, when we see a few transactions, you know, it really, really builds up. So, you know, buyer demand in those areas has been so strong that it's almost difficult to predict exactly how much those properties will sell for when they hit the market, those at the higher end. So, yeah, some really strong results there.
And so is that $1 billion in sales in a year just restricted to Sydney suburbs only, or could we start to see that in Melbourne as well?
We don't have the same number of very, very high-end suburbs in Melbourne than we do in Sydney. Toorak in Melbourne is one suburb where we do see very, very high median selling prices. I would imagine that the vast majority of these billion-dollar suburbs will stay in Sydney. What we could also see, though, is that, you know, if the market does start to ease off a bit over the next 12 months, we may not see those same level of billion-dollar suburbs that we did see over the last 12 months.
Anne Flaherty, economist at REA Group, thanks for your time.